We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son. I'm fuzzy on the whole good-bad thing.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Hey everybody, we want to welcome you back once again, or again, to another live streaming edition. And we've got a new name for it. We're going to call it Crossing the Streams, a joint stream between the Video Rangers podcast and the Movie Madness podcast. I am your host, Doug, and I'm hopefully going to be an honorary ranger. I'm working my way up to being an honorary ranger. And joining me is my co-host from the Video Rangers podcast, Mike Ranger.
Hello, I'm Mike Ranger, and once again, I'm behind figuring out how to do this.
Yeah, guys, we're running behind tonight. As usual, we're trying to get this all figured out. The technology and my procrastination and my inability to figure things out is always hampering us on this show, but we're trying to get better each and every week. We're trying to do a better job. And I think we've got a very, very good show. But before we get started, I always got to give you contact information. If you guys would like to get a hold of us, you guys could always email us, moviemadnesspodcast@gmail.com. You can call the voicemail number or text to the voicemail number, which is 260-573-0015. Eventually, you guys should be able to call in and talk to us as we're doing the show, if we can figure this technology out. You can tweet to us on Twitter at Movie Madness Pod. Follow us on our Facebook page, which is also at Movie Madness Pod. And the final place you can find us is the best movie community on the internet. It's the Ultimate Movie Geeks community on Facebook. Mike, where can they find you guys?
Well, you can look us up on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Just search Video Rangers Podcast. Or you can email us at videorangerspodcast@gmail.com, and we might respond.
Now, we've kind of gone around trying to think of topics for tonight's show, and we're doing a few things a lither bit different. We've got another new segment tonight. We're going to try it out. We're not sure how it's going to work. We're going to be doing some actor poker. We're going to explain the rules to you. We've got Honor Night from the Soiled Restroom Cinema again with another hit it or kick it kind of thing, or hit it or quit it. I messed it up last week, and I'm going to mess it up again. But he's back. He's back with another great one that eventually will maybe get us pulled off the show for a while, or off Facebook for a while. But it's always fun when Honor Night goes off, because he's great. Mike, what do you think of our topics tonight?
Well, I think they are just a boatload of fun. No, I'm excited about this. Particularly the actor poker.
I think it's going to be fun. I think everybody listening to us is going to actually be able to come up with a better hand than what we've got. But we're also going to talk remakes and reboots. We're going to pick our top 3 remakes and reboots that we would like to see happen. And the thing is, with remakes and reboots, we all complain about them. I will tell you, especially if you go after a movie that I like already, I'm like, don't touch my movie. And I get all mad and upset. But then on the other side, I always think about, there's certain movies that you go, it missed it by this much. And you're like, if they only would have had this person in it, or if they only would have done this twist, or if the technology would have been there, they came too early. Doesn't sound quite right when I say it that way.
It happens.
More than I'd like.
Yeah, the movie industry was young.
Yes. And if they just would tweak it left or right, one thing or the other, we would get the movie we wanted. So we figured, what the heck? Let's pick some of the ones that we would want to see rebooted or remade and see where they would go. How do you feel about remakes and reboots?
I think the problem with remakes and reboots is they only seem to remake and reboot already good things.
Yes. That you're absolutely right. They don't ever really want to take a chance on something. And what's really weird in recent history, it seems like the movies, you would think that there's an audience for them. And I think of the Total Recall reboot. It had Colin Farrell in it, Kate Beckinsale in it. I mean, a really good cast. Bryan Cranston. Everybody seemed like they were on board, and it seemed like it was really going to go somewhere. And I was open to it. Usually I'm like, I don't want to see it, but I went and saw that. I actually liked the movie, but it died at the box office. It just nobody wanted to see it. And it just surprises me.
Did you need a Total Recall reboot? Did that need to happen though?
I think I was on,
because I already like the original Total Recall. They could have saved themselves some money and just put the original back in the theater.
They could have.
I would have went to see it.
I made a very bad prediction on that movie, or after it came out, because I really did like the reboot, because I liked the Blade Runner feel of it that it had, and I liked Colin Farrell in it. And after it came out, I'll be hearing about this for years. I said, you know what? Give it another 20 years. And I got a feeling that the reboot is going to be more highly coveted or respected than the original.
See, I know I saw the reboot, or the remake. I don't really remember anything about it. Did they at least have a lady with 3 tits in it?
No.
Well, then it's not what the fuck.
And needless to say, I was wrong on my prediction, which normally I am wrong on a lot of my predictions. So it really does bode well to go the opposite way for me when I make a prediction on something. But starting it off, what is the first movie you would want to have rebooted? And everybody in the comments in here, let us know what movies you guys would like to be rebooted. And if you can think of casting, go ahead and let us know who you would cast in those too.
All right. Well, I guess I'll go first. If I'm going to remake something, I want to remake something that was on the cusp of being good.
Okay.
So I might even actually like it, but it could be better.
All right.
So my first pick would be Waterworld, 1995.
I like Waterworld.
I like Waterworld a lot. But the more and more I watch Waterworld, there's pieces of it that I wish would be a little like they would have went into a little bit deeper, like the underwater sequence when he goes under and you kind of see the old world.
Mm-hmm.
They should have spent more time with that. That was kind of just like a quick, you barely saw anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I was more interested in that than a lot of the other thing, the Mad Max on water thing they were trying to do.
You know what? I agree with you on that. And one thing I would do that I would change in that in a reboot is, well, of course you're getting a new villain, but I would make the whole tone of the villain. Hopper's villain was just so wrong feeling,
He had a streak of that for whatever reason. Like they wanted him to play like these weird versions of these comic book versions of villains. Like that was like a thing though. And then in the mid 90s, right? Like everything seemed to be this weird over the top, spiky hair, fucking red suit ridiculousness.
It's just the tone that he had is what got me. He wasn't Lord Humongous from the Road Warrior, or one of my favorite bad guys in a long time, subtly bad guy, was Gary Oldman in Book of Eli.
Another one that I like.
He's smarter than everyone. That's why he should be there. I thought Hopper in Waterworld was not mean enough as far as how they made the character. It's either you're dumb and you should be either really dumb and really brutal, or really smart to where you outsmarted everybody, and he wasn't either of them.
No, exactly. And there's other things that are going on in that movie that where you already have to suspend disbelief. But like, all right, with the cigarettes, if the world is covered in that much water, Where are you finding there wouldn't and this much time has passed. There's not 1,000 years worth of cigarettes laying around in any warehouse, or cans of Spam, or any of that stuff. Like, but I really do like the movie. There's even like a different cut of it, like, or not a different cut, but like an extra scene that you can see it on YouTube. They have like a rough cut of it. Where like at the end of the movie, like the mountain that they're on or the island that they're on ends up being Mount Everest.
Okay.
Like they see there's like a little plaque on it.
Oh.
Like that's like a deleted scene that they should have left in the movie because it adds a little bit to it.
Yeah.
But I liked the whole concept of like, because especially at that time we were all talking about like the polar ice caps melting and the world was going to be flooded.
Yeah. I like that run and I like The Postman too. I have always liked post-apocalyptic movies.
Yeah, and I know, like, because Chris and I have talked about this a few times. He prefers The Postman.
I like Waterworld better because of the action though, and the subtle humor to it. Because there is the subtle humor, like when Costner just throws the girl off the boat because she pissed him off. It's funny, but it's also
he's a loner, Dottie, a rebel.
Chris in the comments.
I saw that.
Star Wars 7, 8, and 9.
Oh God, I wish they would. I just, I hate talking about Star Wars.
And Matthew's here.
I love talking about
here
it.
In the comments. I had a conversation with him about our Versus segment, which we swerved Matthew off your Versus. He suggested that we do, was it Jackie Chan versus Bruce Lee? And I thought, we got to find somewhere to fit Jackie Chan in. Because then I came back and I said, hey, what do you think we do Jackie Chan versus Tom Cruise? Because they're both literally the same guy almost in a way now because they do all their own stunts. But since we're so 80s centric, I thought right now, let's hold Jackie Chan off. And let's go with Cruise coming up later. Cruise versus Murphy.
You know what's a possibility that just popped into my head? We can do a little Australian battle off. We'll do like Yahoo Serious versus Paul Hogan.
And do we slide Mel Gibson in there eventually?
Nah, because he's from Peekskill.
You're right. Okay, yeah, he's naturalized. Okay.
Yeah, he went to Eastland.
That explains a lot now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My first pick for remake or reboot. I'm going to go obscure. And just because I think it would be fun, this one would be fun. It's a low budget movie called Robot Jox.
Okay.
And if you guys haven't seen Robot Jox, I'll just give you a premise. It's the future. We've got the countries now, there's no more war, but what they do is they fight with these giant robots instead. So if there's a dispute over territory, the U.S. goes and gets their giant robot, the Russians get their robot, they bring them into an arena, and they fight it out, and whoever wins gets the land because there's no wars. It was done with stop motion animation, so it didn't really look the greatest, but after seeing what they did with Pacific Rim, man, I just think it would be fun. It would be a good, hoorah kind of movie. I mean,
hoorah
with them fighting, and then there's a subplot to the whole story about people cheating and people doing countries kind of spies and all this stuff. But I still love that one guy he looks up, he's standing there at that's the American guy. I think he's looking up and he goes, I'm going to get in this thing and I'm going to kick your ass like that. And it's just, I don't know. It just got me going. And I thought, you know what, if they could do that, give it to Guillermo del Toro and let him make it like he made Pacific Rim. I'm all in on that one.
All right. I haven't seen this one.
You need to seek it out. Not the second one, because there's a Robot Jox 2 that's not any good. But
there's a second one?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
But the first one, I think you'd like it. It's right up your alley on that 80s obscure movie kind of.
Well, now I'm excited. I mean, if there's two, that means something good came out of it.
All right, what you got for your second pick?
All right. So again, like I'm going for something that, isn't. It's really not that bad a movie. I was actually just watching it before we recorded, or before we came up here, and I was watching 1992's Free Jack with Emilio Estevez and Mick Jagger.
I thought about this one.
Yeah, because and who else is in this?
Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, and Rene Russo.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm watching this thing, and I've seen it a couple times, and it's a good idea. Like this idea of like people in the future pinpointing like in the past when somebody died, going back there, plucking them out of time right before they die, and then like switching minds with them so they can kind of have like an eternal life. Like that whole idea is cool. But then like, you ruin it by going too far with your futuristic thing. Like you're only going ahead 20 years, but you've advanced us like well beyond where we actually are. So it's like, you have that issue. And Mick Jagger's in it. And, as much as I like the Rolling Stones, he's fucking terrible in this.
I liked him.
You liked Mick Jagger in this? Oh my God.
Yeah, remember I'm wrong on a lot of things.
Oh God, man. I wanted to give him a fat lip, but he already had one.
Oh my gosh. Who would you cast? I mean, we had Emilio Estevez there. If you were gonna do it today, who would you pull in right now? Would you go a Bradley Cooper or would you
Well,
go
I'll tell you what,
Chris
at the
Pratt?
time I would have went Dennis Hopper. Who would I do it now?
Yeah.
In his role?
Okay. Yes.
Oh,
I was talking as an Emilio Estevez role. I was
in Emilio Estevez role?
Cooper or Pratt is who I would go with.
I would go with Cool Hand McConaughey.
Ooh, yes. Never can go wrong with McConaughey.
Yeah. Why not?
Okay. In the Mick Jagger role, I would. Here's my go-to guy now. I would go Adam Driver in the Jagger role. I really like Adam Driver. I think he can do about anything except for Star Wars, and I don't think that's his fault. Actually, I just think he'd make a good bad guy for Free Jack.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, you know what? I'd take that. Yeah. But then again, Star Wars was just dreadful.
I started off with it.
Those weren't the movies I was looking for.
Yeah. Good one. Very good one.
Thank you. Brought to you by Rolling Rock.
Maybe I need to start that. That might help me out a lot.
Just loosened you right up.
My next pick for a reboot, I'm going to go 1983. I'm going to go Brainstorm with Christopher Walken.
Ooh, very nice.
Especially with nowadays with the technology with technology now, it doesn't seem that far off because we're already talking so much about artificial intelligence and what they can do. I think it would really work in Brainstorm. They basically could scan your brain and your mind and download it. And so when you hooked into the machine, you could feel everything, see everything. You're basically experiencing everything that person did. And there's the secondary plot to it where the one lady, one of the scientists, she has a heart attack and she puts the thing on and it basically you get a pathway to the afterlife and see what happens after you die. And of course the military takes it and tries to weaponize it. And that's the whole subplot.
They always do.
Yes. Cause they're always doing it. How many different movies have we saw where the military comes? I mean, Real Genius. Yeah, you're right.
Real Genius right there. Prime example.
Yeah. Real Genius. I like the idea of what they could do with the technology because it doesn't seem that far off now with artificial intelligence.
You're so right. And there's so many movies just like that could use like, that they're such a product of their time. Like they're so dated now. Like you watch a Johnny Mnemonic, or a Lawnmower Man.
Yes.
Like if you show a Lawnmower Man to somebody that didn't come from that era or, you wouldn't get the whole concept behind this whole virtual reality thing, which we thought we were on the cusp of, but even now we still haven't figured it out.
Yeah, we're right there, but we can't quite get that. I mean,
Yeah.
you look
It's
at
better than the Virtual Boy. We're better than there.
right, and you look at the closest. You see Star Trek's got the holodeck and all this stuff like that, and I think we're getting closer to like Ready Player One is the closest you're going to get, where you're on the treadmill that lets you go all different ways and stuff like that. But I don't think they'll ever get quite where we want it to be, I guess.
Yeah.
My next pick. See,
Chris stole my next pick, so I'll have to think of something else.
What is Chris? Go.
Chris wrote Life Force.
That's a really good pick because
it's almost good.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, like the full frontal, the whole movie was awesome, but the rest of the movie is just dreadful. I like the vampire thing.
Well, I one of the neat things is I'd like to get away from. I like zombie movies, I really do, but I'm ready for us to get back to aliens and and vampires and just
werewolves.
Yes, and get away from it. Oh, speaking of co-hosts kind of stealing thunder or whatever, this was always my go-to one, and Jeremy's pulling it out now, is The Last Starfighter. Now that's not my pick. And me and Jeremy have an argument that we keep going through about this, is because I think the special effects are still pretty good for what they were at the time. I'm not saying that they were like great, but when you put them in that lens of what they were the first ones to use the CGI, full CGI, stuff like that. I like their special effects. Jeremy tells me I'm wrong.
No, I mean, yes, they're dated, but no more dated than Tron.
True.
But I think he's right though, because I like The Last Starfighter, especially like the first half of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like it drags a little bit, but I like the whole concept of him just playing the video game and everything like it.
It really is a good. Yeah. It would go well today, especially with as many people. Now gaming is actually now a sport. I mean, where people actually look at it that way.
It is changed though. Like you would no longer have an arcade machine. Now you'd be in your house.
Yeah. And the kid would be the best League of Legends player or something like.
Oh yeah,
best
he
Call
would be
of Duty
like
guy.
all over Twitch.
Yeah, and
he gets sucked into the TV like Captain N.
Centauri would come down, and the game was all made exactly to bring in the best starfighter. I would rather, what I would like to see them do. Rather than remake it, I would like them to George Lucas it and go back and just make Jeremy happy and update the special effects, and that's it.
I'll take it.
Because I always thought that movie, for not being Steven Spielberg, is the one movie that I would say always felt like a Steven Spielberg 80s movie that wasn't Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, that's true.
It had that kind of innocence and fun and wonderment to it. Yeah. Jeremy, it's a great pick, but I'm going to say let's just redo the CGI and we'll come to an agreement on that one.
All right, so what's your next pick?
I'm going to go with Dreamscape.
Another one that's like on the cusp.
Yeah. The idea of somebody like Nightmare on Elm Street in some ways, but a guy being able to get into somebody else's dreams and manipulate inside the dreams, but not a bad guy. He's a good guy, and how he gets into all these different things. And you've got to have a really good bad guy. It's Flaherty or David Patrick Kelly. It's a three-name. He was the bad guy in Warriors. He was Luther in 48 Hours. He was
he's Luther in 48 Hours.
He was Sally in
Sully.
Is it Sully or Sally?
Sully
in Commando.
I don't know. Well, the way Arnold says it's a funny guy.
Yeah. So you need that kind of a bad guy in it, because he's the bad guy. He's the bad guy in there, and he's kind of, it was Dennis Quaid and him and Max von Sydow. Yeah, I like the idea of being able to go into people's dreams because it really opens things up. You could matrix it in some ways. You know, you could do all kinds of things with it.
Yeah. I've seen Dreamscape a couple of times, and that can definitely use an update.
Yeah. So that would be my. Is that my number 2 or my number? That's my number 3. That's my number 3.
That's your number 3?
Yeah.
All right. I guess I'll just come up with another one just because Chris got me with Life Force. I'd remake Howard the Duck.
You and Howard the Duck.
I'll tell you why. Because like I feel like that the reason that movie, first off, like they obviously spent all the money on making the duck look good.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's really the best part of Howard the Duck is the way the duck actually looks compared to everything else going on in the movie. Because there's a lot of dreadful things happening. But it just kind of missed out on the spirit of the actual comic book character.
Okay.
And I feel like they would do a better job with that now. And I love Howard the Duck. What's wrong with Howard the Duck? You had a problem with Howard the Duck?
I do have a problem with Howard
Why?
the Duck. I never liked Howard the Duck.
Why? Who's ruffling your feathers?
I don't know. I've never. But I will say at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy, and then when you got to see Howard the Duck, I kind of laughed. You know that they actually brought him back, and it makes you wonder: do you ever actually see a time when Marvel would actually make another Howard the Duck movie?
When I saw that, at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy, I was like, oh, it's finally here. And the funny thing about that was, man, because I saw that opening night and I saw it in IMAX. And when that happened, like the joy that ran to my face, I was so, and the thing was like a majority of the theater was pretty silent. Like people were like, what the hell is this?
Really? So is it your own insight?
Because I mean, come on. I mean, like if you're a certain age, you don't know what Howard the Duck is. You don't know what a flop it was. Like it's a like a legend of a movie.
Right.
It's like almost Plan 9. Not quite that bad, but I mean, if we're gonna like put it up there in the pantheon of horrible movies.
Yeah.
It's no Santa Claus Conquers the Martian, but
Nah, you're not gonna sell me. You're not gonna sell me on it. You're not gonna sell me on it.
All right, so you'd rather Howard the Duck just suck forever. They don't like give it another go.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
I
think they could find somebody that would do a great voiceover job on that. They made a Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
True. Okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Work.
I will give you that. Okay. Reboots, remakes. I'm going to go with I'll give you one more, another low budget one. It would be a double feature with Robot Jocks because it's made, I would swear it was made by the same people.
Back to back at the drive-in.
Yeah.
Post-virus.
It's a movie called Arena. And it's set in the future, way, way in the future on like a space station. And now...
Is there an arena involved?
Yes.
Okay.
There's no boxing. There's no nothing. There's this sport. They're on this platform and they fight and they try to push each other off the platform. But it's like boxing kind of, you know what I mean? Except for now.
King of the Mountain.
Yeah, King of the Mountain. So, but now everybody is either augmented or it's aliens fighting. And there hasn't been a human champion in like 100 and some years. And this one guy ends up getting in the arena and fighting, and he's the human contender, and he fights and, ends up winning the whole thing because he's trying to get back to Earth, make money. And you'd have all the different alien races fighting. I think it would be a fun, I like schlocky sci-fi movies. And so I think it's right along that line and would work out. Probably for fun. It'll be on Sci-Fi.
Okay.
So that's my pick.
All right.
Do we have any in the comments?
Let's see. What is it? Soylent Green. That's a good pick, man, because I like that movie, but it's so 70s now. Like you got to really appreciate that stuff to go back and watch that. And Charlton Heston was the best with that, the post-apocalyptic stuff.
Yeah, he
You know,
was.
he had a great run. You know, he's got Planet of the Apes, the Omega Man, Soylent Green.
Mm-hmm. I didn't even think about. I keep forgetting about Soylent Green, and that would work really well now because we're right on the precipice of our own apocalypse that's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I watched that movie a few weeks ago.
Yeah, and you got to watch stuff like that because you got to be ahead of the curve to start picking out who you're going to eat. Hey, Jeremy says Leah Thompson. Oh, he says she's not a dreadful thing. I wish I would.
Oh, well, she's great, but she's also, want to sleep with a duck.
Okay.
He also said Waterworld.
Yes, he did. He said,
Look at that. 2 votes for Waterworld.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree on Waterworld. I'm trying to think if there's another post-apocalyptic movie
that you would like to see remade.
That I would like to see remade.
Let's think about this.
I'll give you another movie. It's not post-apocalyptic, but I think it would be fun. Towering Inferno.
I love the Towering Inferno. That'd be fun, man.
I do too. And it's not because it was bad or anything, because
no, but I love the ensemble cast though and everything. Like they should totally do that now. And you could have Cool Hand McConaughey.
Yeah. He would, you know what? He honestly, when you think about it, I laugh, but he's the closest guy I would say if there was somebody to take Paul Newman to be a Paul Newman. You know what I mean? That can act and is charismatic and can be funny. I mean, because a lot of guys you could put in one role, but you can't put in the other. McConaughey can kind of go anywhere. I mean, Newman did so many great movies, but he did Slapshot too, and he was hilarious in Slapshot. He was great.
Yeah, Newman was the best, man. You do Towering Inferno. I could totally see like McConaughey and like a DiCaprio for your Newman and your why am I drawing a blank on what's his name?
I'm drawing a complete blank because
I know this is gonna bother the hell out of me.
And what's really
Bullet, the Blob.
Oh, Steve McQueen.
Steve McQueen. There we go.
Exactly. And it's bad. This is what is bad about this. When we started nailing it, you started saying the ensemble cast. You know who I can't help jumps to my mind every minute? I mean,
Tom Hanks.
No.
Julia Roberts.
O.J. Simpson. I couldn't think of anybody else. I kept seeing dang O.J. Simpson as the security guard.
You want?
No.
Yeah, sure.
Remember,
I don't know.
No, he was the security guard. And so for some reason.
So you want him in the movie again? You want him back?
No. I don't want him back. But when I went back through my Rolodex in my mind, I couldn't picture any of the other actors. I was like, my screen was frozen on him. So I couldn't figure anybody else out. And Jeremy, okay, once again digging on me. Towering Inferno, he says they already did it. It was called Skyscraper.
I know. I said the same thing when that movie came out, but I was like, well, I guess. But they couldn't get more than one person that anybody knew to be in that movie.
Well, and the funny thing about that is I laugh because it's like, what can we do to make The Rock sympathetic? I know, we'll take his leg off. I mean, he's going to end up being the Black Knight by the end for sympathy in about 5 more movies. He's just going to be hopping around on one leg with no arms. Oh, Matthew, perfect. Oh, and the Towering Inferno remake, Mike Tyson is the security guard.
Nice. That's a great pick.
That's a great pick.
I like that.
Oh,
I like that. Who's gonna take the place of like a Fred Astaire?
I would have said Gregory Hines, but he's passed away.
All right. Who could be Fred Astaire?
I would have said Kevin Spacey, but his career has passed away.
Yeah, he would be in this movie if I was making it.
Yeah.
So you got to have all these people in there.
Who would be the Fred Astaire now? Who is the guy that would be the classy?
Yeah, the classy, like older guy.
Daniel Craig. Ooh, Chris says Justin Timberlake.
But it's old Fred Astaire.
But
Fred Astaire's like 60-some, 70 in that movie.
But we could update it.
Okay, fine. Justin Timberlake.
Justin Timberlake. Chris.
Yeah.
You're
all right,
hired.
fine. I mean, don't get upset. Don't cry me a river or anything.
Jeremy's got Michael Bublé.
Michael Bublé. Get the... Why don't you get Jeremy Miller while you're at it? Ben.
Oh, okay.
This segment brought to you by Rolling Rock.
Yes. You know, I would have never thought that the Towering Inferno, bringing up the Towering Inferno would get the most reaction out of anybody.
Oh, I love the Towering Inferno. It's such a fun movie. The Towering Inferno and Earthquake.
Oh, I was going to say the Poseidon Adventure.
Okay.
But they've already remade that. Remember with Kurt Russell and the guy from Glory Road.
Okay.
I always forget him.
What's a movie you could not remake today?
Blazing Saddles.
Oh, you fucking took it from me, man. God damn it. Fuck. I'm sitting here like, how do I bring up? Oh, man. All right, fine. Porky's.
Since we're doing,
you can remake it. Won't be any good.
Yeah. You know, another movie that you can't remake. I love it that we've gone from let's remake everything to you can't remake. And there's only one guy that could do it.
If they remake Back to the Future, I'll lose my goddamn mind. All right, now continue. I'm sorry.
You can't remake Smokey and the Bandit today.
No way. Speeding is looked down upon.
And the technology and everything, you know, you'd have spike strips and everything. But if
cell phones would be getting pinged. If
I was going to remake it, though, if we're going to reboot it.
Who is your Smokey? Who's your Bandit? Who's your Snowman?
We'd set it back in 70. We'd set it back in 78, 79. Okay.
Yeah.
It's your man, Cool Hand McConaughey. He's the only one that can do it.
Absolutely. Cool Hand McConaughey.
Sheriff. I would go Samuel Jackson.
As the sheriff?
Yes.
I don't know about that. See, unfortunately, what's going to happen is this is going to be a Netflix Adam Sandler movie, and Sandler's going to be the bandit. What's his name from King of Queens is going to be the fucking
Kevin James.
That's what's going to fucking happen.
Oh my gosh.
And Chris is going to love every minute of that because he's a big Kevin James fan. Watch the comments, he says.
I think this is back on the Towering Inferno. Matthew, and I think he's going on our Fred Astaire. Gary Sinise.
Okay. Who's that?
Gary Sinise?
Yeah. I'm bad with names.
Lieutenant Dan.
Oh.
But you
nice, but how's he going to tap dance?
Yeah, you ain't got no legs, Lieutenant Dan. I like Gary Sinise. He's
okay. No, I like him a lot too. He was great in Ransom.
Yeah. I liked him when he did his adaptation of Mice and Men with John Malkovich. That's a really good one to watch.
Yeah.
Sam Elliott. Oh, he's got Sam Elliott also.
Sam Elliott in anything.
Yeah.
Is brilliant.
Wow. Yeah, there's and guys in the comments, keep giving comments for movies that cannot be remade, because I actually think the cannot be remade is actually more fun than actually talking about movies to remake.
Yes.
Yeah.
Want to remake Dream a Little Dream? Okay. But you leave Revenge of the Nerds alone, goddammit.
Yeah. That's another one. You could remake it, but you can't remake it like they did it. You definitely have to do some editing.
You know what? You couldn't remake Ladybugs because it would just be acceptable.
You would shame the person that questioned them off the field.
Yeah. How dare you? How dare you ask me if I belong in this field?
Oh, goodness.
If I want to.
Oh. Well, on that note, I think it's time
before I say some stuff, you know.
Yeah. I think it's time we go to a break and we come back with our actor poker. So we will be back after the break.
To these messages.
Video stores may be all gone, but Video Rangers Podcast is still open for business. Video Rangers Podcast is a member of Infirmary Media, and you can join us each week as we discuss only the finest rentals. Movies like No Retreat, No Surrender, Teen Wolf 2, Police Academy 4, Citizens on Patrol, The Heavenly Kid, Meatballs Part 2, Cool as Ice, Miami Connection, and a whole bunch of films that'll keep you up all night. Hey kids, remember TV's very special episodes? Well, we got those in stock, so meet us at the bike shop. For more information, search Video Rangers Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Alrighty, guys, we are back, and now we're going to do our experimental thing. We're going to be doing our actor poker. And this one, not sure how this one's going to go, but we're going to give it a shot because I think it's fun, but it's one that takes a little bit of preparation. And right now, me and Mike aren't the best at our preparation.
No, we're no experts on this matter.
But the rules of the game is you find yourself an actor, and it's try to take a run of five movies. They have to be consecutive movies. And find
5 in a row.
Find the actor that's had the best run of 5 movies in a row. So guys, open up your IMDb and start checking on your ones, because if your picks are anything like ours, some of the ones we thought of right off the bat, you look and you go, oh, good, clunker. And then you go, good, clunker, good, clunker, good, clunker. And it's a little bit harder to pick than what we thought. But who do you have for your first hand?
Oh, I'm going to go first. You're such a gentleman. Thank you. All right, let me pull up my list here because I'm not smart enough to remember anything.
Do you want me to go first?
No, I got it. All right, so for my first pick, I went with the great Harrison Ford.
Ooh.
And so with his run of 5 consecutive movies, we are going to start with 1980's The Empire Strikes Back.
Okay.
We're going to follow that up with Raiders of the Lost Ark in 1981, Blade Runner in 1982, Return of the Jedi in 1983, and Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom in 1984, which is not nearly as bad as people think it is.
I like Temple of Doom.
It's the Zelda 2 of the Indiana Jones franchise.
That's... Man. I would have, in my mind, I was thinking he had to have had a clunker right in there.
No, he was on a hot streak.
Yeah, he was on the hot streak. And amazingly, they didn't, you think about it, they didn't want to use him in Star Wars. They
didn't want to use him in anything.
Yeah, they had him he was an American Graffiti, and they didn't want to cast him in Star Wars. And to his credit, smarter than all get out, he said, "Here, let me come in and I'll do the table reads with everybody
I'll just get paid for doing table reads. Yeah, that's fine."
And they're like, "Okay," and they're like, "Man, nobody else is better than he is."
Listen, man, go get yourself, if anybody has access to it. It's on the extras on the Blu-rays and the DVDs for Star Wars. Watch the auditions for Han Solo, or just anybody that was all the big time actors that came in to read for Star Wars, and you'll watch it, and you'll see how terrible everybody was. Everybody was reading it like shit. It sounded awful. And then the people that obviously were cast in the movie, they come in and it's just like they fit. It's so perfect. Look at the way like Kurt Russell auditioned versus the way Harrison Ford does.
It is amazing, and it's kind of like you go, how did those guys get so good? But then you think about it, for Raiders of the Lost Ark, their original choice, and I love Tom Selleck. I mean, I do, but there's nobody that could play that role like Harrison Ford did.
No, he was perfect, man, because he got it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was like, all right, forget the fact that we're in the future. Forget the fact that well, it's a long time ago, but forget that we're in space. You know, let's focus on the story.
And the neat thing about him is both characters there's similarities between both characters when he's playing Han Solo and he's playing Indiana Jones. There are similarities to them, but when you watch them, you totally view them as two completely separate characters. It's like there's things you like and there's things that don't match up, but you never don't like any of the parts.
Well, one's a college professor, one's a scruffy looking nerf herder. But where they're similar in the movies is that they're both like they're flawed heroes.
Yes.
They're Jack Burton. They're way in over their head, but they want to make it look on the surface like they've got it all together. And some of the things that they succeed in are complete accidents. It's true. Like look at it. And Indiana Jones is a much better example because he goes through much more situations where it's like, and one of my favorite scenes in Raiders is when, he's fighting all those guys and then like the big German guy comes out of nowhere and it's like, I'm not fighting. I'm just going to shoot him.
Wait, no, he shoots the swords guy. The swords.
He's like, what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
you're right. You're right. He grabs for the gun and he had already dropped the gun. He wasn't just going to shoot him. You're right. And
you're right. The sword guy he shoots, the big guy gets chopped in the blade. I'm sorry.
Right, but he does grab for his gun to shoot him.
Yeah, but he does things like that. Like he's always just like, he has like these moments of success when he's failing.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
he's not perfect. He's not like like the King Arthur or whatever.
Right. Jeez. Now
I'm sorry, I'm rambling.
No, you're good. I'm trying to see. You've got a really good pick, and your hand's gonna beat my hand.
Nonsense.
I already know it, but this I still like this one. I got Russell Crowe. He's got to
hit me with it.
He's got to run a Gladiator.
Lovely.
Proof of Life.
Okay.
A Beautiful Mind.
Okay.
Master and Commander, and Cinderella Man. I think
Cinderella Story out of nowhere.
They're all quality movies. I mean, Academy Award movies. Totally different characters, but yet still really right when he was that was when he was in his peak.
Yeah, this is after L.A. Confidential. I love.
Yeah, and I really wish he had a couple movies like disappear in between there.
Yeah, I know. No, yeah, he had a good run. Now he's like, he doesn't do much anymore. I don't really see him in a whole lot.
No, and
I liked him in Nice Guys.
Yeah.
That was him, right?
Yes, he was very good in Nice Guys.
Yeah.
I think he's taken himself out. He can't. One thing like a guy like Mel Gibson wrecked his career, by his attitude.
Well, he got himself because Mel Gibson. There was a point where people loved Mel Gibson,
right?
And he completely ruined his image. I mean,
yeah,
because he was really he was about to go into the next phase of his career where he was going to be Mel Gibson, the filmmaker,
right? But like Russell Crowe, Russell Crowe got old really fast, and in some ways, where some other guys he didn't keep himself in shape. And so it took him.
He did that movie with DiCaprio, right, where he was the intelligence operative or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No.
Oh gosh, I'm trying to think what it is called.
I have in this room. I just don't remember what it is. This is what's happening, man. So many movies I can't remember them all anymore.
Yeah, but he just kind of put it. He didn't keep himself in shape, so it took him out of those.
Let himself go.
Yeah, it took him out of those borderline action. Let's call it intelligent action movie. Something you put a Clooney in, where it's where there's it's kind of a drama, but yet it's got a little bit of action in it and a little bit of
Yeah, and he's still got his sex appeal.
Yeah, and
there's a problem when him and your lead actress are on screen at the same time, and you're watching him jiggle.
Exactly, kind of like you see him in The Mummy. He got bigger. And
yeah, because. I don't know if you know this, but there's two kinds of fat people.
Okay.
There's people that were born to be fat, and then there's people that were once thin and became fat. So when you look at them, you can kind of see that thin person waiting inside?
I just had a brainstorm on your Fred Astaire going back.
All right,
Go
throw
ahead,
it back.
back it around.
Going back in time.
How about Hugh Jackman? Didn't win you on that one, did I?
No, I like Hugh Jackman a lot.
I
do.
think
I
of
like
his greatest showman character,
Yeah.
where he was kind of I thought he would fit in pretty well in that. I'm looking at the comments. We've got Matthew's got Dwayne Johnson, but I'm not sure what for if we're going back to our castings. And he's also got Jeremy's got Sandra Bullock for something. So I wonder if those would be in our Towering Inferno remake.
I think he was talking about Sandra Bullock as somebody that had 5 consecutive movies.
Ooh,
okay. But then he said never mind, hers weren't consecutive, because I think somewhere in the middle there, I got to look at her IMDb, but I know she did a movie with River Phoenix that isn't that good.
Okay. And there's another person we talked about on our, but we'll talk about him a little bit later, that we both kind of thought was kind of in the running just a little bit for a 5 run, but we'll talk about him. What's your next pick?
Just a bit outside.
What's your next pick?
All right. Okay, so for my second pick, I went with the great John Casal.
Okay.
Now, see, here's the problem with that. I say that, and everybody's like, who the hell is John Casal? Well, let me tell you. He's Fredo in The Godfather. He's in Dog Day Afternoon. He's in The Conversation. He's in Deer Hunter. He's in Godfather Part 2. The guy that only made 5 movies, but all 5 of those movies either won an Academy Award or were nominated for an Academy Award. He's a perfect record. He threw a perfect game.
John Casal.
John Casal. He's Fredo.
I'm looking.
Fredo.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm your older brother, Mike, and I was stepped over.
Oh,
I'm smart. I'm not dumb. I'm smart.
He was in Dog Day Afternoon also.
Dog Day Afternoon. Yeah.
Oh, he was married. Who was he married to? Oh my God.
He was dating Meryl Streep.
Yeah.
He was a stage actor. He had worked with Pacino.
And he died. He had cancer. He died at a young age.
He had cancer, but he was an amazing actor. He takes over every role that he ever had. He owns the screen whenever he's on it. He's got this vulnerability about him, this sadness in his face that is just, you just like, he's. I mean, Godfather obviously is a great movie, but he's amazing. The only movie I haven't seen out of the 5 is The Conversation, and it's on Amazon Prime, so I'm going to watch it this weekend. And then I'll have seen all 5 of his movies. He's amazing. Yeah.
Now that I know who he is, you're absolutely right. Oh man, dang it! You're getting me again.
No, it's not. It's not a competition, Doug. This is for the audience. We do this for the people. Wu-Tang is for the kids, for the children.
Okay, I'm gonna go with my man Tom Hanks.
My man.
And looking at this,
Tom,
how
you doing, Mr. Hanks?
He's probably had one of the greatest runs. I mean, he's got a great 5. But he's also got, I mean, even further, you can go about 8 movies out, but starting with Philadelphia, and Philadelphia is not like a rewatchable movie, but he won the Academy Award. He won the Academy Award for it.
Not.
So it's almost wrong to leave it, off because it is in the run. But he had Philadelphia, Forrest Gump, Apollo 13, Toy Story, and then That Thing You Do, which I just watch, is great. He's only a little part of it. It's a little,
but he wrote that film and he directed that.
And so if you were to throw that out, just because he was like he wasn't one of the main. He was a main guy, but you know what I'm saying. If you did throw that out,
he made the movie. You can leave him in there.
Okay.
But even if you get rid of it, he's still spectacular.
Yeah. And if you get rid of that, guess what he follows that up with? Saving Private Ryan.
Saving a Butte.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great run.
One hell of a resume. You should be working at Goldman Sachs.
In the comments, we've got
What do we got? Fast and the Furious 7. What
we're
happened?
You're ahead of me. Matthew's got Dwayne Johnson 5 consecutive. I have to look and see what 5 he's got in a row.
Yeah.
Definitely box office. Definitely.
Oh yeah, but is that? I don't know how. Yeah. I like Chris was like he's banging cocktail waitresses 2 at a time. Mike, you do not come to Las Vegas and talk to a man like Mo Green like that. Fredo, my brother, and I love you, but don't ever side against the family again.
I'm smart.
I'm smart. I'm smart. I'm not dumb. I'm smart. And I want respect.
You got to remember, Fredo is a derogatory term now.
Yes, it is. Yes, he's a real Munson.
Oh, that would be one to look up too. See what Woody or Bill Murray had done in a row. Okay, we had. I'm looking at Matthew's pick for The Rock for 5 consecutive.
Well, he's pulling them up. He's got. See, here's the thing though. He's got Pain and Gain, which I actually thought was a bad movie, although I like The Rock's performance in that movie.
Okay.
Fast and Furious 7. I don't know if you can. I mean, yeah, it's a big movie. People like it, but Hercules, I didn't see.
I didn't mind Hercules. He was good. He was good in Hercules.
All right, I believe you. Central Intelligence. I didn't see that.
I like Central Intelligence. There's a
Baywatch.
No, you don't get Baywatch.
Yeah, see, I don't know. Just because it's in the theater. Although, Matthew, I appreciate the picks. The effort is there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. I appreciate the picks, too. But I can't give you Baywatch. I can't give you Baywatch. I will give you Central Intelligence because Central Intelligence surprisingly has one of The Rock's better acting scenes in it. Because he plays, he plays a fat kid when he was young that ends up being jacked and being a spy basically. And there is a really good scene in there where he had been bullied as a kid, and he goes in and they end up running into Jason Bateman. He was the guy that bullied him when they were kids in high school, and they go to talk to him about something, and Bateman kind of gives him a really good swerve, kind of caught me, where you thought Bateman had changed and was a good guy and was kind of apologizing for all the bad stuff he did when he was a kid. And he just turns on a dime and gets you. And when he does, he looks at The Rock and kind of says, "You ain't gonna do nothing. You're just another, you're still just a fat kid at the end." And The Rock really did a good job in that little segment right there, how he portrayed somebody that had dealt with that stuff for a long time. Really.
What do? Did he turn the other cheek?
He did turn the other cheek.
Oh, all right. That's responsible. He must have watched Con Air.
There's another one. I wonder what Nicolas Cage, he had a run for a while.
Yeah. Raising Arizona.
Jeremy's got Leo. He's got Leo. Of course.
Leo.
He's got Leo. From Once Upon a Time backwards. He's got Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Revenant, Wolf of Wall Street, Great Gatsby, and Django.
Okay, here's the problem with this. Of those 5, which ones of those do you want to rewatch?
Django.
Okay.
Django.
I'll rewatch Django and Hollywood. I saw Revenant in the theater. I thought it was well acted. I didn't want to watch it again, and neither did anybody that was in the theater.
Wolf of Wall Street. I'd watch Wolf of Wall Street again.
See, Wolf of Wall Street, I found it. You know what the thing was about it? Again, well acted, but I fucking hated these people.
Good point.
You know what I mean? I was like, fuck these guys. This is like, what the... All right. And Great Gatsby, I didn't see, so I can't speak on that one. Okay.
Matthews he brings out Jumanji now, and I we talk about remakes and reboots. I was one of those.
Jumanji, I thought was a fun enough remake,
Yes.
but that wasn't really a remake. That was almost a sequel.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Some remakes are okay, man. We talked about it a few weeks ago. Dread was a great remake.
Yes, very. I mean,
that was splendid.
And I still pine for the day that we can get another Dread movie.
I was hoping for it, man, because you know what? Not only was it a good remake, but it was one of the few really good 3D movies.
It was, and it did the way they did the slow-mo, the slow-mo.
Oh yeah, that was great, man.
That was just amazing how they did.
Really
it.
Like that one, yeah.
It added to it. It makes it. 3D came and went. There was only a few movies that utilized it very well, and that was one of them. Gravity was another. Avatar was one.
Resident Evil 3 or 4.
Oh,
did a decent job with it.
I checked out on all the Resident Evil movies.
Yeah, I don't like them either, but I saw the one that was in 3D I saw in the theater, and I thought that the 3D effects were gimmicky enough to where it made the movie better.
Okay.
But it's a movie where you need to see it in 3D, otherwise it's not worth watching. Because that's the thing. I feel like if they make 3D movies, go all out with it, throw things at the screen.
Yeah, Gravity was so good in 3D.
Okay.
Because they threw stuff at the screen, left and right.
Square Pegs, 1983. I own the complete season.
Is that for can't be remade or needs remade?
Well, Square Pegs was a TV show.
Oh yeah, but I've
with Sarah Jessica Parker and Valley Girls and all that.
But I question, is it to be remade? Because he's got Ghostbusters 1984. Is that to be remade or to not be remade? Because
don't ever remake Ghostbusters.
We will talk about that and what we've been watching.
We tried that.
We will talk about it and what we've been watching. He's got Tootsie from 1982. You can't redo Tootsie.
No, because it would make sense.
Except just like your ladybugs. It would fall right in there. Oh.
Square pegs, square pegs, square pegs.
Wow.
Always never quite right. The Waitresses. I got that on vinyl.
Really? I don't have
I'm a
any
fan
vinyl.
of the turntables.
I have no vinyl.
Oh, I got a ton of it. You want some?
No, I have no room
I'll mail
either.
it to you. I'll sell them to you real cheap.
I'm trying to get you to take my laser discs.
Dude, you really want to unload some laser discs?
I've got a few.
Let's talk after the show. You got my number.
We will look because I got some good ones, I think.
All right, just hopefully my wife doesn't see him.
We ready to get out of here and come back on the break?
I think so, because I had to grab another Rolling Rock.
Okay, let's see. Where are we going to? We're going to the second break, so we will be back after the break.
These messages. We'll be right back.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
In 2013, when the Earth's rotation came to a halt,
has declared all of North America a disaster area.
My fellow Americans to come together.
the world called on the one man who could make a difference. When it happened again, the world called on him once more. And no one saw it coming 3 more times. Now, the one man who made a difference 5 times before is about to make a difference again. Only this time, it's different.
Who left the fridge open?
Tug Speedman. Scorcher 6. Global Meltdown.
Here we go again. Again.
Alrighty, guys, we are back and we're ready for our versus segment. And this week we are doing Eddie Murphy versus Tom Cruise. And we thought first we were thinking, hey, let's do the whole thing. But Eddie Murphy hit a rough spot. So I think it's kind of only fair if we kind of keep it in the 80s realm, since we love the 80s so much. Eddie Murphy versus Tom Cruise, bigger star in the 80s. What do you think, Mike? First.
Well, I mean, I think, let's get it out of the way. This is a hard one to do, because if we're going off just straight movies, it's a little bit more fair. But if we're going to talk bigger star, you obviously have to give it to Eddie Murphy, because he was a crossover star. Saturday Night Live, the movies, the stand-up, the pop music. He was a much bigger celebrity than Tom Cruise was. Tom Cruise doesn't really blow up until Top Gun. And even then, he's just an actor. Eddie Murphy is, he's on different kinds of media. But see, we are so unprepared that the audience is going to get to watch us do our research live and in living color.
Yeah, because as I'm looking at this, first off the gate, I would almost go with Eddie Murphy. I would say in the 80s, you got to go with Eddie Murphy, because
I'll tell you. Can you pull up Eddie Murphy's IMDb? I'll pull up Tom Cruise's.
Okay. How about you pull up Eddie Murphy, since I already have Tom Cruise's pulled up?
Oh, all right. Well, I'll pull them up, pull them off, whatever. All right, hold on a second.
For Tom Cruise, and this is what, at first I was going to go, well, Eddie Murphy, you've got Trading Places, you've got 48 Hours,
okay.
You've got Beverly Hills Cop right off the bat. I mean, right out of the gate. He might have had the best first 5 except for Best Defense. But when you look at Tom Cruise, though, right off, you just say, let's start off with he's got The Outsiders in 83, Risky Business in 83. Now he's got Losing It also in 83, but All the Right Moves. Now I would really I'd start with All the Right Moves. Let's just.
Okay. Because Losing It you can't count, because that's like a movie that people forget he's in.
Right. He had All the Right Moves, 1983, Legend, 1985, Top Gun, 1986, and now followed up Color of Money, 86.
Okay.
Rain Man, 88.
Okay.
Cocktail in 88.
And I love Cocktail.
Yeah.
Cocktail's awesome.
And Born on the 4th of July in 89.
Depressing movie, though. Very depressing movie.
Yeah. But
big movie.
Yeah, big movies. And not just big budget as an action guy. When you come through with Color of Money, Rain Man, you're starting, and Born on the 4th of July, you're starting to get in that Oscar buzz kind of thing too, where he kind of takes that next step up to not only being a star, but being respected also.
Well, he's bankable at that moment.
Yes.
He's had a run after Top Gun. I mean, it's totally different.
Yeah. I mean,
but just looking at, looking on the other side, looking at Eddie Murphy, 48 Hours in 82, Trading Places in 83, Best of Big Laugh Off on 83. I'm guessing that's a comedy thing. Best Defense in 84, which I actually haven't seen that movie, and I actually found out about it a couple weeks ago, and I want to get into that one. Then he's got Beverly Hills Cop, Golden Child.
I like Golden Child.
Golden Child's okay. Beverly Hills Cop 2. Then you get Coming to America, which is, an amazing movie. But then you get Harlem Nights. Then you get another 48 Hours. Then you get Boomerang. And Boomerang, I would say, is kind of like the beginning of that star starting to fall a little bit.
Yep.
Because then you're going to get Beverly Hills Cop 3, which is obviously the worst of the 3. And then you follow it up with Vampire in Brooklyn. Now, the weird thing about Vampire in Brooklyn is I actually kind of like it, but I totally get why it flopped at the time, because I don't think people expected that. I don't think people knew what to get out of it. And even though it's directed by Wes Craven, it's got the horror elements, but I don't think people were expecting it to be like that horror centric and kind of try to be funny. I don't think people wanted that Eddie Murphy. That's what I'm getting at.
Gotcha. See, the one thing about Eddie Murphy, and here's another thing to think about too, when we didn't count this. He had Delirious.
Yep.
In 83. And what year was Raw?
Well, Leather obviously was still in, so was that like 2 or 3 years later?
I think so. The problem is when you're looking at it, he had so many things because he'd blown up, and it's not listed in the movie section. It's only
no. I got to go into you got to go into when he's playing himself.
Yeah, and that's
Right,
so
so
you're getting
let's-
every TV thing.
Yeah, every TV show he did, every appearance. Yeah. All right, let me.
If you throw those two in also, I think that kind of puts him over the top.
See, I feel like you almost have to exclude that because I feel like he had crossed over into so many different markets. He's a bigger celebrity than Tom Cruise is in the 80s, but Tom Cruise is also doing a different kind of movie. Like Eddie Murphy is just doing comedies. As much as I love those movies, he's just doing comedies. Tom Cruise can do a little bit more, except for be funny, because he's not very funny in anything he does.
I'm looking at the comments, and Matthew asked, "What year was Days of Thunder?" And I think that was 1990. 90,
Yeah,
so
Chris wrote that.
Just missed out. It just missed out being in the 80s. But once again, that kind of continues where Cruise was on his run. What do you think are Cruise's 3 best movies through the 80s?
Top Gun. Let me pull this up and actually look at this.
See, I would probably go Top Gun.
Legend.
I really like Color of Money.
I'm just kidding.
I really like Color of Money because I'm a big fan of The Hustler. So I really like him as Vincent in Color of Money, but I don't know if I watched that more for Paul Newman than for him, but I still put him in there. And I liked him in All the Right Moves also.
Okay.
Those would be my three picks. Well, Cocktail's in there too. So
yeah, I'm gonna go Cocktail. I'm gonna go Top Gun. But I mean, Rain Man's a good movie, but I wish Days of Thunder was in the 80s.
I do too.
All the Right Moves, I don't really watch that often. I'm not really a Risky Business guy, as popular as that movie is. I like Losing It, but I wouldn't call it a Tom Cruise movie. It's just kind of something that he's in. Also, like The Outsiders is kind of like that. I guess I have to pick Risky Business. I mean, other people like it.
Yeah. Eddie Murphy for three best. Beverly Hills Cop. Then I would go 48 Hours.
Okay.
Then I would go Trading Places.
Okay, I think you can substitute, if you wanted to, 48 Hours and Coming to America.
Did Coming to America make it in the 80s, or is it a 90?
Let's look it up.
For some reason, I thought it was a 90, but I could be wrong. Best performance, best/favorite performance. For Tom Cruise, I gotta go with Maverick. It's just a great performance overall. Fun, action, just everything that matters for him. I mean, it defined him really. So
Coming to America is 88.
Coming to America is 88. Well, that pretty much.
However, but I just feel like Coming to America is like the big movie, and 48 Hours. I love 48 Hours. I mean, there's a new sheriff in town. His name's Reggie Hammond.
So, for Murphy, best or favorite performance?
Coming to America. Actually, no. I'm sorry. Trading Places.
Oh, okay.
I love him in Trading Places.
I really like. I'm going to go with Reggie Hammond from 48 Hours.
You do that too. I mean, either one. Bro, I love him as Reggie Hammond because the bar scene just makes it.
Mm-hmm.
He walks into that bar. I mean, it's just, I hate white people. I don't like white people. I hate rednecks. You people are rednecks. It means I'm enjoying shit.
Where'd you get this job? He goes, "You're too stupid to have a job."
Too stupid to have a
job. Yeah, because
man, you out of your fucking mind, man.
I
love him in that.
I like that because that character he felt real. He felt like real to the level of it was kind of like charisma. He had charisma, but it was like a real feeling character where you could actually picture somebody being that way. Axel Foley, I think Axel Foley's so fun, but he felt like a movie character where Reggie Hammond felt like he could have been a real character.
A regular guy.
Yeah.
We'd like to welcome Michael Williams to the show. How you doing there, Michael?
All right. Is that a Rolling Rock?
Yes, it is, sir.
Another sponsorship for Rolling Rock.
Couch right now, enjoying a nice ice cold Colt 45. Way to keep it classy.
Tom Cruise, best scene or quote?
Top Gun. That's right, Ice. I am dangerous.
Yes. Great scene with Val Kilmer. I'm just going to go with the quote of, "I feel the need for speed."
The need for speed. Yeah, man.
Definitely. Eddie Murphy, best scene or quote for Eddie Murphy.
Reggie Hammond when he walks in the bar.
That scene is great. Since you picked that one, I'm going to go with the Super Cop story from Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh, you know what? I really like in Trading Places when he's in the jail. He's like, "Karate man, breathe on the inside, bleed on the inside." You don't know nothing about that because you a big black Barry White looking motherfucker. I love when he says that, man.
You're right. Oh gosh, he was so good, so good.
Oh, he's the best, man.
Didn't
I tell you the phone? My limousine was broken.
Worst movie, Tom Cruise, and we're sticking in the 80s.
The 80s, worst movie. Legend, maybe.
You came up.
I mean, if I had to pick, out of everything here.
Geez, I'm trying.
Audio.
I'll jump to for right now. I'll jump to Eddie Murphy. It's Best Defense.
Best Defense. Yeah, I would say that's probably the weakest. I haven't even seen it.
Now I'll jump. You're back on him. See, really, luck for Tom Cruise. There's not anything like terribly bad. He doesn't have that.
He's a good actor,
right?
Like how many times is the movie bad because of him?
Right. So he doesn't really have a worse movie of the 80s.
No, he doesn't. I mean,
and that does give him credit.
I'm saying if we stick to just acting, that's where he gets the edge.
Yes. What has aged the best for Cruise?
What has aged the best, probably?
Yeah, from back then.
I think what's aged the best is probably Born on the 4th of July.
That's aged the best.
I feel like it's aged the best because it's a time period piece. Whereas Cocktail, it looks like an 80s mall.
Oh.
Like I expect, turn the corner, there's Sam Goody and an Orange Julius.
Oh, okay. For age the best, no. I think Top Gun. I think Top Gun for Cruise has aged the best for me because of what they did with using the real planes. Because it was so far ahead of its time, And I'm going to knock Iron Eagle, and I still really like Iron Eagle. Both movies came out at the same time, but when you put them side by side and just the flying parts,
yeah, I mean,
so much different.
You can't even really compare the two because one's Coca-Cola, one's RC Cola.
Yeah. Eddie Murphy, what's aged the best? Or did you already do what's aged the best on Eddie Murphy?
Eddie Murphy, what's aged the best is probably Coming to America.
Yes.
48 Hours has not aged well. It does not.
Yeah. In the lens now, but we've both talked about this on a previous show, that the way they dealt with the social commentary was really well, but I don't know if people could get through what was said to see it.
I think the thing about what makes 48 Hours work or Blazing Saddles is the give and take.
Mm-hmm.
Both sides going at it and coming out to some resolve.
Yes.
Things are worked out, within your 90 minutes.
I'm looking at the comments right now.
Welcome, Justin Drever.
Where's Matthew's got Top Gun, Rain Man, Cocktail, and then for Eddie, he's got Trading Places. He says Trading Places, Eddie. Jeremy's got Axel Foley.
Axwell.
And that mix of the characters, I think they really had a great cast that played off each other so great in Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah.
So now we're moving to Age the Worst. We've said in a lot of ways 48 Hours has aged the worst.
And probably Best Defense. I mean,
yeah,
it's probably aged terribly. And I do have to get around to seeing that.
No, you don't.
No, Chevy's in it, right?
No, it's Dudley. It's Dudley Moore.
Oh, maybe
Wait,
I don't
need
to see it.
Am I wrong on this?
I thought Chevy was in Best Defense.
Oh no, maybe I'm all wrong.
I'm like a big Chevy fan.
No, it's Dudley Moore. Yes, Dudley Moore.
All right, I was way off.
Dudley Moore. Yep, Dudley Moore. Whew. Yeah, you're really wrong. You went from a tall, skinny, funny guy to a short, not funny guy.
Hey, he was great in Like Father, Like Son.
Oh, Arthur. He was good in Arthur too.
Yeah, but he was not good in Arthur too.
Arthur also.
I'm sorry. I'm confusing Best Defense with Deal of the Century.
Yes, that's
my problem.
Yeah,
that's my problem, among other things.
That's a clunker. Now Jeremy will stick up for Chevy Chase. He really likes Chevy Chase.
I'm a huge fan, man. Mm-hmm. I was actually really upset because he doesn't live too far from me, and he was in the town that he lives in. They were doing a screening of Caddyshack, and he was going to come and do live commentary on it.
Oh.
And I just I couldn't get there in between, because it would take me about an hour to get there. And between the time I get out of work and between the time the movie started, I couldn't have done it, but that would have been cool.
So overall, bigger 80s star, Eddie Murphy or Tom Cruise?
Eddie Murphy. When you say star, I have to go Eddie Murphy. If you said bigger actor, I would have said Tom Cruise.
Oh boy, it's because it's almost Eddie Murphy burned so bright and so hot for so long, or so quickly, I should say. I don't think Tom Cruise in the 80s reached the high level that Eddie Murphy did.
No, I would say that Tom Cruise reaches his peak 1993, 94.
Yeah. Cruise felt like Evel Knievel heading towards the ramp and getting ready to go take off, where Murphy was like Snake River Canyon. He just let it fly and he was off. Yeah. I'm going to agree. Overall career, you got to give it to Cruise and you talk about what's aged the best, is Cruise has aged the best because Cruise has not aged.
Well, neither has Eddie. Eddie looks great too. He's just not.
You're right.
Doing
He does.
any movies that I care about at this point, with the exception of the Dolomite thing that he just did. That was actually good.
Yes, definitely. Dolomite was good. We've got in the comments the skit with Chevy Chase and Richard Pryor.
Yeah, that's a great skit. Actually, that is the only season of SNL I own on DVD.
That is a skit talking about things you could not do today. And that is a skit that when I went back and watched it, I had never seen it. And I only saw it maybe a year ago. And I was like, that was on regular TV?
Regular TV, yes.
Oh my.
Yeah. Interesting. I mean, just watch the first 2 years of All in the Family.
Yeah. And looking at Jeremy says Cruise was the bigger star after Mission Impossible.
I'd agree with that.
But I almost wonder too, honestly, at his brightest, even if you were to take Cruise after Mission Impossible, even any time in his career, I still don't think he burned as bright as what Eddie did right for that short period of time.
No, Eddie was like in the 80s. Eddie was the Michael Jordan of comedy.
He was by far. And I think today, if he would come back and do stand up, when he won the Mark Twain Award, did you happen to see his stand up for that?
No, I didn't really watch it. I am not looking forward to Eddie Murphy coming back. His recent apology for his older stand-ups has me worried for his future in stand-up. Like, I don't feel like comedians should have to apologize for the jokes they make.
I agree. He needs to do what Chappelle has done, what Bill Burr has done. Just steer right into it and don't change.
Yeah, I think you have to be yourself. Like guys like Norm Macdonald.
Yep.
You know, I feel bad for guys like that.
Once they
are no longer welcome on the platform.
Right, because once they showed that little bit of weakness, then it was all over.
Yeah. Just going over to the comments real quick. It seems that Michael Williams has a crush on me. I'm a little concerned.
Matthew makes a comment. About, I believe it's Tom Cruise. He says, it's the Church of Scientology, man. That's why he hasn't aged. And like I always say, and I've said it many a times, Tom Cruise is always happy. And if that's what Scientology does for you all the time, I'll take a little dose of it. Not a lot. I don't want the coldy part. Take the coldy part out.
Tom Cruise is interesting because the movies he's making lately, like I like them, even though they're not doing that well.
Yeah, it's you almost wonder that has he kind of slowly, even though he hasn't aged, that he has maybe aged out of the realm, you know what I mean, or of the consciousness of the younger kids.
But he's choosing cool things. Like I liked Live, Die, and Repeat. I liked Oblivion.
Yeah,
he's making cool choices.
They're
just not doing that well. They're trying to promote them like big Tom Cruise movies, and they're just
right. And it's kind of like, no, I don't think anymore. And it's a topic that we can probably do a whole segment on, is actors that used to sell movies. And I don't think actors sell movies now. Maybe The Rock is the only one left that you literally put him on the billboard to sell the movie.
Tom Cruise, you can even say that is one of the last movie stars. He's one of them.
Yes.
You know, we are long far away from guys like John Wayne, Paul Newman's, Steve McQueen's. You know, we're not there anymore.
Right. And it's, you're not going to see, there's so many different avenues. I think it's really, we've been lucky enough and unlucky enough to kind of come up through a generation where things got huge, where these actors got huge and made, you know, huge, almost. Will Smith is a prime example of a guy that pretty much
he's a star. He's a star. Yes. There's always the exception. Like, and Jeremy's right. You know, with about Leo. And yes, I know nobody liked The Mummy, Jeremy. I haven't watched it. Is it that bad?
Yes.
I have a Blu-ray of it. I just haven't watched it yet.
Yes.
Is it really? It's
Yes.
that bad. I was looking forward to that. Okay.
Yes, it's that bad.
All right.
Now you're gonna love the opening.
Interrupt
You will
you.
love the opening where they show the Dark Universe logo and everything, and you're gonna say, "Oh, this is okay, all right." And then the movie
I was
starts.
excited for the Universal universe to continue because I'm a big fan of those movies.
Yeah. But I will say, like, Will Smith made so much money and he basically priced himself out. And a lot of these actors, as they go up, they basically price themselves out of being able, because the movies become failures if they don't become massive box office hits because their salaries were so much. So where if it's a lower budget movie, and they bank on themselves and take more money on the back end, where, something like a Jack Nicholson did for playing the Joker in the Batman movie, and I think Hanks for Forrest Gump almost made no money whatsoever for the role, but took points and then, made like $50 million off of it because it made it so big. Nowadays, we've seen guys, they just don't sell movies anymore.
We're in a different, things are very different now. I wouldn't even know, I don't know what the kids are doing.
Yeah. But how do you put Tom Cruise? The thing is, you put Tom Cruise, he's what, 56, 57, right around there?
I don't really care about, it's not the age. I guess it's the age when it comes to certain roles that you're going to choose. But I mean, there's still actors that I get excited for things that they do, like De Niro does a movie. Most of the time I'm interested.
True. But I mean, I guess it's more for the roles that they're playing. I think people have seen Tom Cruise for so long, and I think the younger generation sees Tom Cruise, and they don't see him in that action movie position anymore. Where, like, yeah. I think this new Top Gun might redefine him a little bit because now he's playing the older guy to the younger generation. Maybe this will let him come in as the older guy, kind of make that transition.
Listen, man, the trailer for the new Top Gun looks really good.
Yeah, it does.
Looks really good.
But my only question on that is, does it look really good because of what you see of him, or does it look really good because of the planes and the way they're filming it?
Well, from what I've read, Tom Cruise has said that this is going to be like a love letter to aviation.
Okay.
So maybe they will focus on, one-liners and big fast scenes and just hit you with that nostalgia right in the crotch. But I mean, even Chris, just going through the comments here, Chris says that Tom Cruise still makes good movies, but that's it. Nothing is amazing. Harvey, tell him what he's won. Now, Matthew here says that Will Smith's wife just left him. Is that true?
I don't know. I was actually trying to look through IMDb to see if it was listed on IMDb that if it made the news that it had. But I am not
welcome
seeing
to the show, Joe. I'm sorry.
Oh, Joe's back.
Joe is back. He says, "Hey guys, I just saw this and tuned in." Well, thank you for tuning in, and you win a week at Space Camp. And who else we got here? Mike Williams continues to troll me. I'm beginning to think he's the one that sent me that dick pic.
Oh.
What else we got here?
Matthew has true story. The planes from the original Top Gun were from the 122nd in Fort Wayne. That's right where I'm from and right down the road from Jeremy.
I thought it was a mail plane.
It was a
Didn't you notice? I thought it was a mail plane. Didn't you notice its little balls? The Tubman 601. I flew one, and then he goes to war.
Tom Cruise is the Mr. Strickland. Oh my goodness. Oh, hey, Matthew comes back. He's updated. I feel like we should have the entertainment news music playing.
Wait a minute, this really happened? The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and his wife are done? Is that true?
We will have to get back to you on this. We need confirmation.
I got to go to AP News or something. Hold on a second.
Do we want to go? Do we want to go to break and then come back after this and find out if Tom Cruise, find out if Will Smith's wife left him?
I'm all right. Yeah, I guess we'll find out after these messages. We'll be right back.
And we're heading to Honor Night from the Soiled Restroom Cinema.
All right.
Hey there, bad movie fans. This is Honor Night from the Soiled Restroom Cinema podcast, and this is my Hit It and Quit It.
Whip it out. I ain't got all night.
Boy, if you ever wanted to feel like the hairiest person at a female waxing party, have I got a comedy turd for you. Released in January of this year, Like a Boss is packed with unfunny stereotypes, paint-by-numbers plot devices, and physical comedy so bad it makes the Special Olympics look like the Pink Panther movies. Tiffany Haddish and Rose Byrne star as two improbable best friends whose partnership is put to the test when a large beauty company wants to buy out their small makeup business. Hilarity is supposed to ensue at this point, but instead we get 87 painful minutes of a first-year improv class as these two women desperately try to squeeze out some chemistry between them, like trying to squeeze a pussy fart out of a pair of Spanx. Jesus Christ, I haven't seen an on-screen duo this unfunny since Tony Curtis and Sidney Poitier in The Defiant Ones. I fail to see what appeal Tiffany Haddish holds for comedy. Her whole act is loud and black, which makes her about as funny as that homeless person on a transit bus that keeps talking to herself on an imaginary cell phone. Pardon me if I go loud and Polish for a moment when I say, Badajcie fracka kacka kopa. Being relentlessly offensive only works here in the restroom. It's not a great comedic skill to have on screen. Man, you know your performance sucks when you spend more time being hypnotized by the mole on her face rather than laughing at anything she does. And as for Rose Byrne, well, how long are you gonna ride that milquetoast white chick act, honey? Bridesmaids was 2011, so please find something else to do. If I want to see an attractive white chick act like an idiot, I'll just turn on Fox News. Fortunately, there is some mild comic relief in the form of Salma Hayek, Billy Porter, and Jennifer Coolidge, playing stereotypes you've seen in a dozen other films, but at least here they give us a break from our insufferable leads, who couldn't be funny if they were wearing clown makeup at a funeral. Look, if you're desperate for a girl power film that won't make you want to bleach your own asshole, go watch Charlie's Angels, Pitch Perfect, or Coyote Ugly, and stay the hell away from this makeup tutorial nightmare. That's my Hit and Quit it for this time out. For more cinematic turds and questionable humor, head over to signalsoffury.com and subscribe to Soiled Restroom Cinema. We're here to flush it, so you don't have to see it.
All right. Once again, Honor Night delivers in full force.
Golf clap. Very nice. Very nice, sir.
We're not worthy. Thank you, Honor Night, guys. And don't forget, check out Honor Night in the Soiled Restroom Cinema. Great show. They tear movies apart in detail. Detail.
He is the Rain Man of shredding apart movies.
I want to label him the pit bull of podcasting.
Yeah.
Because he goes after movies so great. So fun. Thank you, Honor. Once again, you've delivered in full force. Did you find out anything about Will Smith?
No, all I found was one article that I had already read a few weeks ago that because of the whole quarantine thing and people, basically she's just around Will Smith a lot more than she normally is and is realizing that she doesn't really know him and she's going to use this time to reconnect. But that's all I have so far.
Okay, so far. So as of right now, they are still together.
All right.
Oh, wait. Oh, he just shared the article, USA Today. You'll have to check that. You'll have to check that one out.
A second. Let's do this live. Let's see. Jada Pinkett Smith. There have been betrayals of the heart during Will Smith romance. This was an article written in June 7th, 2019. All right. So we got to the bottom of that.
Okay, where are we at now?
It's okay. Sometimes just parents just don't understand. And girls of the world ain't nothing but trouble. Sorry, homeboys. Don't mean to bust your bubble.
You always catch me off guard with your quotes. Always.
Sorry there, Doug.
All right, we're doing what we've been watching. And everybody in the comments, thank you again. I haven't said it enough and haven't thanked you guys enough. Thank you for all the comments. All the information, everything you guys, you're making us laugh. You make this so much fun.
It's my favorite part of the show.
It is, and we want to know what you guys have been watching. We're going to talk a little bit about what we've been watching. Mike, what have you been watching?
Well, I'm so happy that you asked, Doug. However, I've had a few Rolling Rocks, and I need to go to my list. All right, what have I been watching? Okay. So the other day I ordered off of Amazon John Carpenter's Assault on Precinct 13.
Ooh.
because I love the movie and I didn't own a copy, so I figured I'd sit down and watch it. And when the Blu-ray came, on the back of it, it said that it was a mixture of Night of the Living Dead and Rio Bravo. So, and I'm a big Rio Bravo fan. You know, ever since my father introduced the movie to me when I was like 12 years old. So I sat down and I watched Assault on Precinct 13. If you haven't seen it, it's amazing, kind of like, you know, Alamo type movie where a precinct that's closing down is basically there's a character that has to fight off a whole gang of people and they hold up inside the jail. It's an awesome movie. So after I watched that, I decided, hey, let me go back and watch Rio Bravo, see if I can see any similarities. And if you haven't seen Rio Bravo, that's a John Wayne movie, Ricky Nelson, Dean Martin, Howard Hawks. And it's like Tarantino's favorite, one of his favorite movies. If you haven't seen it, it is 1959, amazing Western.
You don't get any good Westerns anymore. So that's one.
No, they don't make them that, you know, now they have to be gritty.
Yeah.
You know, that's the problem. Now you need a Tombstone.
Or would you call Hateful Eight a Western or not?
Hateful Eight is a Western. It reminds me of The Searchers in the beginning of the movie, at least. I think Hateful Eight's a great movie. I think, you know, Hateful Eight is a great movie. The issue is that Tarantino, as he continues through his movie journey, I still like his style, and I still think he makes, you know, amazing, like, you know, professional top tier movies. It's just that I like a movie like Hateful Eight, I just didn't want to go back to.
Okay.
There's something about it. I didn't really want to go back to it. Like I like what he does, but sometimes Tarantino goes like he can make something great and kind of unwatchable at the same time.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know, like I really like Django, but I feel like the ending when like everybody's like blowing each other away is just like a little bit too much.
He does really have them violent scenes right at the end.
Yeah, it's like I feel like I'm nitpicking a little bit, but because I really like what he does, but his climaxes are a little bit too, you know.
Gotcha.
You know, it's like, listen, man, I want the money shot. I want you to blow your load. I just don't want you to get it all over the walls.
Oh.
For 5 minutes. Could you not be yourself? For 5 minutes!
I knew it was coming sometime.
You're welcome.
I've watched a lot of stuff recently. And it's probably why I'm so unprepared for the show. Don't ask me why I did this, but I rewatched, we talked about it earlier, the Ghostbusters reboot, because I was so down on that movie. I hated it. And I thought, well, you know what, Doug? Jeremy always says the reason you hate movies like that is because you hate women. And I thought, well, I'll go back and give it another shot. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Just to kind of appease Jeremy and give it a second shot. And I hated the movie even more the second time. And one of the things is I liked Chris Hemsworth in the first go around because he was funny. He was slapsticky funny. And he even got worse the second time I watched it. It was terrible. They made the girls dumb, and nothing makes it any better. I also watched.
So,
go ahead.
I have to apologize to you really quickly, and just I've had a few Rolling Rocks, and I missed the entire first part of what you were talking about. What movie are you talking about?
The Ghostbusters reboot.
Okay, it sucks. Continue. I'm sorry, sir.
And like I said, I watched it a second time just to prove
to confirm it. Don't you hate that? I did that with fucking Kingdom, the Indiana Jones with the Crystal Skull. Saw it twice in the theater man.
Mm-hmm.
All right, sorry, got in the way of your rant there.
I watched Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? I wanted to go back. I love that movie, and just as good the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh time. I think it's probably got one of the greatest soundtracks of all time for the simple fact that it's a soundtrack that is not what you would call a mainstream soundtrack. It's bluegrass. It's folksy. It's not something I would normally listen to. And I went out and I bought it.
Oh, so I actually like bluegrass. I'm not a country music guy, but I like bluegrass.
It really surprised me. And I like all the actors, Tim Blake Nelson in it, John Turturro. They're great.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, very good movie. I watched American Made with Tom Cruise, and what's funny is
another decent movie.
I saw the trailers for it. I had no desire to see it. Came out, just watching it on. I think it was Cinemax. I was watching it on, and I'm like, wait a second, this movie is great. It's fast paced. It's fun. He's charming. You get a bit of a history lesson. It was just so much different than the way they portrayed it in the trailers that I'm very, very surprised at how good it was. And it's like what you had talked about. For some reason, he makes these movies that are good that just aren't selling right now for one reason or another. I rewatched Enemy of the State.
Oh yeah. Oh, you said you wanted to watch that. I like that movie.
And still liked it. Watching it again, the ending of it, the very, very ending, I wish they'd redo the shootout scene. Isn't quite what I thought. But one thing that caught me a little bit out of this is all the really famous young actors that were in there for just good parts.
Tell me you don't love everybody that's in the control van or whatever. Really good. Jack Black, good. Seth Green, good.
Jamie Kennedy. Is it Jamie
Kennedy or Seth Green? I'm sorry. Am I mixing this?
Both
of them. Okay.
Both of them. Jake Busey, Scott Kahn, and I'm missing the guy that gets hit at the beginning, gets hit by the fire truck. He's another young, good actor too.
Who's the guy that got hit by the fire trucks? People in the audience, who got hit by the fire truck?
Who got hit by the fire truck? But yeah, I really enjoyed it going back, and it's really amazing. Love Gene Hackman in it, and how much they got right back then about we talk about privacy issues now and people listening in on you. They were
Enemy of the State's a fun movie.
Yes, and that's pre 9/11. They were already talking about all that stuff because I got Kirby to watch it, and as we were watching it, he wasn't.
What did he think of it?
He wasn't paying attention at first, and he goes, "Oh, it almost sounds like they're talking about the Patriot Act." And I said, "Yeah, that's why I want you to watch this because this came before all that."
But it's pre Patriot Act, man. Yeah. This is like, listen, man. It's hard to talk to kids about the world pre-internet.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say pre-internet, I mean internet as you know it now.
Right.
You know, because there was internet in the 80s and there was internet in the World Wide Web in the 90s, but nobody was using it. The masses were not using it. It was not a social media meeting place. You had AOL. You went into a chat room at 2 a.m, age, sex, location.
Exactly. And it that surprised me how much they got right. And I really like Gene Hackman's Brill character in it.
Oh, he's great. Gene Hackman is great. The best Lex Luthor ever.
I liked Spacey and Superman Returns.
Did you? Better than Hackman?
Yeah, because he wasn't quite so corny.
You think Hackman's corny in Superman?
Yeah.
Wow. I feel like he's the best part of the Superman movies.
I still like him. I'm not saying I don't like him.
No, that's okay. It's your opinion. It's fine. I forgive you.
Well, where is it at? Oh.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
In the last movie I watched, and I was blown away by it, and I kicked myself for not watching it when it came out. I watched 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbings, Missouri. And
heard of this? Tell me about it.
Wow.
You say.
Real character, and it's one of those movies. It's not a big action movie. Nothing happens. Nothing really happens. Just great dialogue and great characters. And Frances McDermott nominated and won the Academy Award. Woody Harrelson nominated for Best Supporting Actor. Sam Rockwell nominated for Best Supporting Actor. He actually won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor out of this. It's a really tight story, kind of a small community. I don't know if I want to give you too much away, but Frances McDermott's daughter was murdered about 7 months earlier. She was raped and murdered, and there's no leads on the case, and she's frustrated with it. So she rents these 3 billboards, basically questioning the sheriff as to why nothing's been done. And it just tears.
So the case goes stale. Billboards.
Yep. And
Got it.
And the town just kind of gets divided.
They're in a frenzy.
Yes. And the characters just feel so real, and the interaction between them. There's a scene with her and Woody Harrelson talking, and something happens in it, and just the way things shift on a dime, because these are people that are friends, but they're fighting. You know what I mean? And it really is really well done. And like I said, I don't want to give a whole lot away. I didn't care for the ending a little bit. It was fine. The ending was fine. I don't think they had a way out at the end. But I still like it wasn't enough to you know how sometimes you get to an ending that really ruins a movie. This didn't ruin it. There's some twists in it that I didn't expect. Just really good. So if you guys haven't seen 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbings, Missouri, it is very, very well acted. Slow movie, but very, very well acted. And it's in some ways a dark comedy too, because some of the scenes that you will laugh at that you shouldn't be laughing at, but you will. So I really like that. Let's see what the comments have. A lot of people seen some different things.
Well, let's see. Matthew was asking about the new Chris Hemsworth movie on Netflix, which I know of and I haven't watched yet.
Somebody has Extraction. That's the Hemsworth Netflix.
That's the Hemsworth movie. Okay.
I'm trying to think. Jeremy had something up here a little bit earlier, but I'm missing it right now.
By the way, I feel like Jeremy lives inside my head.
He lives inside my head too.
I do. It's crazy, man.
He's there all the time.
Yeah, it's like we think a lot of the same things.
Question for you on Chris Hemsworth.
Yes, sir.
He has been rumored to be doing or going to do a Hulk Hogan biopic for Netflix with him playing Hulk Hogan.
Nope. Nah. You know what? I'll be honest with you, man. I don't think we need to do a Hulk Hogan movie yet.
I don't think there needs to be a Hulk Hogan movie, period.
Not yet. I mean, listen, man, 40 years from now, maybe. You know, because obviously Hulk Hogan is very important to professional wrestling, whether you like him or not.
I love him as a professional wrestler. I put this way, over under on the word brother being said in the movie over 200 times.
That's the thing. How do you do it without turning it into a comedy?
Yeah. And how do you do it? See, I just wish...
Just make a documentary. That's the better way to do it.
Like the Andre the Giant documentary.
Which was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Really good documentary.
Which makes me think of Dark Side. Have you watched any of the Dark Side of the Ring documentaries from Vice?
No, I haven't.
That's another great thing to watch because they go through like the one that's got the biggest ratings was the Benoit murders.
Okay.
They cover that, but they also cover when Bruiser Brody was killed down in like Mexico or Tijuana or whatever when he was stabbed. They cover Macho Man Randy Savage's career. Now the newest one is Dr. D. David Schultz when he smacked John Stossel upside the head.
Okay, call me when they do Coco Beware.
Yeah, I think you're going to be left off on that one. They had a great one on New Jack that was really. It's on. They have them on YouTube now. They're put them up on YouTube. Really, really good. But I don't. As far as Hulk Hogan, number one, I don't see it. And I really like Chris Hemsworth, and I don't want him to play it because I think this is going to be one of those roles that really hurts him.
I felt like The Wrestler was a really good professional, like good take on professional wrestling. It wasn't about Hulk Hogan, but you can definitely see how like the guy's popularity was Hulk Hogan like. He just wasn't as successful, I guess, financially. I don't think you need to, not right now. I don't think you need that quite yet.
Right. Yeah. I just don't think his life's exciting enough. I mean, yeah,
his wrestling career is exciting, but his personal life, we already saw that his personal life was not that exciting when he did the reality show.
Yes.
I mean, that reality show really hurt him, I think.
Yeah, I think it did too.
Because I watched it and I was like, man, I really don't like Hulk Hogan. And I loved him as a kid.
I was a huge pro wrestling fan. I still am. And I used to, say my prayers, eat my vitamins,
Oh yeah, man.
And somewhere along the line, the more I got to know who Hulk Hogan was, the more, the veil got pulled back, the less I liked him.
Hulk Hogan, the real guy, he's not a good guy, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Looking at comments, Matthew's got the Green Mile. I really like the Green Mile. That's another Sam Rockwell performance. The three billboards out of Ebbings, Missouri. He wins the Academy Award for that. But I've seen him 2 times better than that when he should have won the Academy Award. He should have won it in Moon. I thought he should have got the Best Actor award for Moon. And remember, he was Wild Bill, or the bad guy in Green Mile. He was amazing in that also. Hogan is still here. Hogan is still here. The best was Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
Just I don't know, man. What would you say? Here's a question for you. What's a movie that you like that you think that people should watch, that you think that people haven't given a chance yet or don't really know about?
Moon. Moon is my go-to one right now. I would say Moon is the one I want everybody to watch, because it's just amazing, the fact that the great performance that Sam Rockwell gives just pretty much by himself in the whole movie. Not good sci-fi, gives you a really good mix of that. I'd go with Moon.
I don't know what I'd go with. I'm like looking at all my movies and I'm trying to like figure out one. A few years ago, I was really pushing Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see that with Val Kilmer and Robert Downey Jr.?
Yes. Great dialogue. Great.
Yeah, I really like that one.
I would probably push The Prestige also. I really enjoyed The Prestige. And then that's Christopher Nolan too. So, I mean, it's kind of like, it got hurt because The Illusionist came out the same year with Edward Norton, and they're both magic movies, and it kind of, how they kind of get lost in the shuffle because people don't tell the difference between the two movies. They get mixed up.
No, it's what's funny about those movies. It's the old Armageddon Deep Impact.
Mm-hmm. And both those and Illusionist and Prestige are both good, but the fact that you have Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman going head to head, just really, really good. It's a revenge movie with a twist to it. Let's see. He uses a bloody double. He uses a bloody double.
Bloody double. What's a good Hugh Jackman movie, man? Have you seen Prisoners?
No, but DJ, our horror guy, he loves that movie, even though it's not really horror.
Watch that movie. His performance in that is.
And I would also, Hugh Jackman, I would always recommend Greatest Showman to everybody on him too. I'm not a musical guy, and I love that movie.
Yeah. But I feel like we're getting a little too classy. I feel like we're getting a little bit away from my roots here.
Yeah.
So if I can recommend one movie for somebody to watch tonight that's in the listening audience, I would recommend Hamburger, the motion picture.
You are the expert of 80s sex comedies. Everybody out there listening, Mike.
I wish that was true, man.
What are your, since you brought Hamburger up, And if
All
you guys want to hear more of this, go to Video Rangers Podcast and check out their full catalog of episodes. But
yeah.
what are your
you can always use a few downloads. We only got 20 this month.
What are your three? If you were going to give me 3 86 comedies for somebody to watch.
Are they popular, or are we going, like ones you probably don't know of?
Well, just your call. If you're going to, they could be popular, they could be quality, just however you want to call it.
All right, if we're going to go quality, Porky's, Revenge of the Nerds. What's the third one I would go with for sex comedy? Porky's, Revenge of the Nerds. Man, that third one's where it gets a little tough. I don't know, maybe Last American Virgin, but I actually feel like that's more of a B tier
Okay.
movie. Hamburger is always like my underground pick ever since like Chris actually introduced me to that movie. It's another fun one. What's a fun one? What's a great sex comedy? Let's go to the audience here. Because for me, I feel like Porky's and Revenge of the Nerds are just great.
I think those are the two big ones, I think.
Yeah, those are the ones where, like, if you're going to watch one, that's where I would start.
I like joysticks.
You like joysticks, really?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not a big fan. I mean, we covered joysticks on like our 4th or 5th episode, but I don't really like the movie.
Chris has a good point. Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Fast Times. That exactly. Absolutely. Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Revenge of the Nerds. Porky's.
There you go.
There you go. That's the list right there.
That's the list.
Absolutely right. Now, if you're going into the B tier, then I'm going Last American Virgin, Hamburger the Motion Picture, what is another good one? Loose Screws. Go Loose Screws.
Michael has USA Up All Night. They used to have a lot on Up
All
Night.
USA Up All Night is USA Up. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. USA Up All Night was an extremely important TV like segment in my life.
Mine too.
The first movie I ever saw on USA Up All Night was The Toxic Avenger.
Okay.
Majority of the collection that I've got in this room is based off of things that I saw on USA Up All Night.
Yes.
And that's probably why I like really shitty bad movies. And when we started the Video Rangers podcast, movies that played on USA Up All Night were the kind of movies I was thinking that we would cover. And that's kind of what's happened.
I think I saw Heavy Metal on USA Up All Night. And I want to think if it was the Lenny Bruce cartoon, Thank You, Mask Man.
Yeah.
Are the two things that stand out to me the most that I remember from then. Because I used that and Night Flight. They kind of ran together for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Toxic Avenger, Meatballs Part 2, Meatballs Part 3, Invisible Kid, She-Wolves. I think that there's this weird, terrible movie that I actually own. I think it was like She-Wolves of the Desert Wasteland or something like that. And that's where like there's no fertile men. And they end up find like a fertile guy and they just like abuse him.
I was thinking when you started to say, I was thinking Hell Comes to Frogtown.
Yeah, that ran on USA Up All Night. But even you get those Cherry 2000, even though you get those kind of movies, you also are getting, Breakfast Club ran on USA Up All Night.
Joe says, didn't they have Bikini Car Wash? No, Joe, that was Cinemax that had Bikini Car Wash.
No, they didn't. And Bikini Car Wash. That's a movie.
Yes, I know, but I think I saw it on Cinemax.
Oh yeah, probably.
And it was after hours, so it wasn't Cinemax at that time. It was pretty much Skinemax at that time.
And Jeremy says Zapped. Yeah, I actually didn't see Zapped on USA Up All Night, but I did see Zapped again on USA Up All Night.
I don't think I've seen Zapped Again.
Zapped Again is takes place like 10 years later, same school. The Scott Baio character, I guess, leaves some of the formula behind something in a wall. This kid finds it, and he uses it.
Yeah. Well, I think we've pretty much covered everything about what we've been watching. Everybody in the comments, guys, again, we say thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for all your comments. And keep posting in the comments what you would like us to talk about for the next show. It really helps so we don't have to always decide what we're doing. You guys help us decide, because the more we get from you, the more we can kind of get this discussion going even more. And if I say more one more time, we can all take a drink. As we get ready to get out of here, where can everybody find you, Mike?
Well, you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Just type in Video Rangers Podcast, or you can email us on videorangerspodcast@gmail.com. And we will, probably write you back, I guess.
But once again, guys, we want to thank you for joining us for this Crossing the Streams or Cross the Streams joint stream between the Video Rangers Podcast and the Movie Madness Podcast. And if you guys would like to get a hold of us, you guys can always email us, moviemadnesspodcast@gmail.com. You can call the voicemail 260-573-0015. You can tweet to us at Movie Madness Pod. You can follow us on our Facebook page, which is also at Movie Madness Pod, or also go over to the Ultimate Movie Geeks community on Facebook. Night, movie lovers. Wherever you are.
And if you want to party all the time, I'm ready to believe you.